Hi, this is Alistair Lee. In this video, we'll take a look at the Adobe Acrobat Connect Pro meeting module. The meeting module is the technology in Connect Pro that facilitates any live meetings, whether they're large web seminars with lots of people in a single host, or a small meeting with several hosts just looking to share the same document and collaborate together, or whether it's used as a live virtual classroom where an instructor is training a number of students inside the live meeting. The meeting module is built on Flash. That means that there's no plugins for any of the participants to download. As long as they've got Flash in a web browser, they can pop right into the meeting itself. It also means that the bandwidth requirements are fairly low and the screen sharing is lightning fast. Connect Pro meetings are also persistent. That means you can create the meeting once, give it a custom URL, and you don't need to recreate or reschedule a meeting every time you want to meet. Simply type in the URL that you've created yourself. This is a URL that you could add to your business card or your email signature, and you'll pop right into the meeting. Anything that you've uploaded to that meeting will also stay persistent. So if there's a presentation that you tend to use a lot, you can upload it to the room once and pull up that presentation at any time. The meeting room itself is made up of a number of pods. Each of these pods can be moved around a place where you'd like. You can minimize the pods to get rid of them altogether, and add new pods by going to the pod menu and selecting the pod that you're looking to choose. You can also add a custom background to the Connect room to customize it. In fact, your entire Connect account can be completely branded with your own logos and color scheme. Let's take a look at each of the pods inside of the Connect Pro room. The first pod is the camera and voice pod, and this camera and voice pod is used to share your webcam. If you've got a webcam, any of the participants in the room can be given access to share their webcam, as well as voice over IP. And the voice over IP is actually broken out into the room itself down here at the bottom. So this pod isn't required to use voice over IP inside of a Connect room. I can hit the camera button again to pause my webcam, or I can press stop if I don't want to share my webcam at all. The next pod we'll look at is the attendee list pod, and this attendee list pod first shows all of the attendees in the Connect Pro meeting room itself. There are 3 different roles that you can take on inside of a Connect Pro room. A participant is simply an individual in the room. They basically have no rights whatsoever, but they can certainly watch the presentation. They can interact with a chat pod. A presenter's got a few more rights. A presenter can share his or her screen. They can share PowerPoint documents and move those PowerPoint documents forward and backwards. But it takes the host, which is the 3rd role in the Connect Pro meeting room, to really change the layout of the room itself. So they can add new pods and get rid of existing pods, pretty much control the entire room. This attendee list pod is also used to set your status. So you can set the status, whether you agree or disagree with the host, whether you need people to speak louder or softer, directly from the attendee list pod, as well as down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the Connect room. And in addition to being able to set your status in the attendee list pod, hosts can also use it with our integrated telephony partners to control the volume of the different participants in the meeting room. So I can place somebody on mute if they've put us on hold and we're getting their background music, or if they're a quiet talker, I can raise their volume or lower their volume as needed. This chat pod gives all of the participants a way to communicate, either with specific individuals within the room or send a message to everybody. By default, this chat pod is unmoderated, which means any participant can chat to anybody. But I can create a moderated version of this chat pod, and to do that, I'm going to open up the presenter-only area of the Connect room, and that's another feature of Connect Pro. And this presenter-only area will only be visible to the hosts and the presenters in the Connect room. So participants won't see any of the pods that are now surrounding my main Connect room. And I can use this presenter-only area, and specifically this Q&A pod inside my presenter-only area, to link that chat pod with my Q&A pod. And this now, in essence, becomes a moderated chat. So if somebody asks a question, that question won't be seen by the other participants. Only the hosts and the presenters will be able to see this question. They can actually modify that question. They can answer the question. And they can send that answer back either privately, just to the person who asked the question, or publicly if they want everybody to be able to see it. By default, there's also a single notepod on the screen. The notepod can be used to type in the audio information. It can be used to take meeting notes during a meeting. And in fact, you can have as many notepods on your layout as you'd like. I can keep adding notepods here and put different information in each of the different notepods. Or I can close them all together. The most important pod I've got on this layout is the Share pod. And this Share pod allows me to share information. I can do that by sharing my entire computer. This will share either my entire desktop or specific windows or applications I've got open on my computer. I can share documents. These may be documents that I've already uploaded to the Connect Pro server that I can select from the content library, or select documents directly from my computer. You can see there are a number of different supported file types like PowerPoint documents, image files, Flash movies and Flash video, MP3 files, and zip files. And Connect Pro will actually turn these into Flash documents as I upload them to the Connect Pro server so that they're shared more easily. I can also create whiteboards so that individuals in this Connect Pro room can start collaborating together on a whiteboard, and that whiteboard is a shared experience. So as any individual adds something to the whiteboard, all of the other participants see that and can add to it. In addition to the main meeting room, Connect Pro 7 also allows for breakout rooms, and I can select this breakout room configurator to enable the different breakout rooms right within the Connect Pro meeting. I can have up to 5 different breakout rooms, and I can have Connect Pro automatically evenly distribute all of my different participants into those different breakout rooms. Once they're evenly distributed, I can begin those breakouts and manage them directly from the main meeting. So I can send them notes, which will appear in each of the breakout rooms. I can pop into each of the breakout rooms to see how my participants are doing. All of my participants get promoted to be presenters as we start the breakouts, and that way they can start sharing things like whiteboards or sharing their screen or typing in the notepods. Once we finish the breakout rooms, I've now got the option under my pods menu to bring in content from the breakout rooms into the main meeting. As a host, I also have this navigation bar at the bottom of my screen. And this navigation bar allows me to quickly change to different layouts. And these layouts are basically a saved arrangement of the pods that you've added to any individual layout. It's very easy to create a new layout. I'll simply select the New Layout button here. It's the plus button. And I can create a completely blank layout and start adding pods. Or I can duplicate a layout that already exists and make simple modifications to that layout. There are a number of other pods that we haven't really talked about. We've got polling pods in Connect that allow participants to interact with the presenter and allow those presenters and hosts to gather feedback. File share pods that allow the hosts and presenters to very easily share other types of files with all of the participants. For example, I may want to provide a PDF copy of the presentation that we're looking at. May want to share an Excel file. We've got a web links pod. This allows the hosts to very quickly type in a URL and launch that URL on each of the participants' browsers. We've also got a video pod showing on this particular screen. And in fact, this is just a share pod with a Flash video loaded into it. Any one of these pods can be renamed. Simply double-click the name and rename it. And of course, all Connect Pro meetings can be recorded. Simply hit the Record Meeting button and all of the meeting will be recorded, including the audio if you're using Voice over IP or the integrated telephony option. In Connect Pro 7, those meeting recordings can now also be edited. Selected parts can be chosen and cut out of that meeting recording, and hosts and presenters can create a downloadable copy of that meeting in Flash video format to easily distribute to anybody. And that's a quick look at the meeting module of Adobe Acrobat Connect Pro. I hope you've enjoyed this video.